Are you an old soul? 15 signs you have a wise and mature personality. Have you ever been told that you have an old soul? We often say this to people who seem wiser or more mature than their earthly years. They often display experience, knowledge, and good judgment in a variety of situations. But what is considered an old soul? And what are the clear signs that you are one? Let's take a look. 1. You have a calming presence. With wisdom often comes greater peace, and this can give people a very tranquil feeling whenever they are around you. I think of it as an almost grounding effect. If someone is stressed, hyper, or tense, your mere energy seems to be enough to soothe them. It's not even about the words you speak or anything in particular that you do. Like I say, it's an energy or a vibe. Perhaps that's at least in part to do with your excellent listening skills. 2. You are a good listener. Are old souls quiet? No, not particularly. But it can feel that way, simply because they give others the space to speak. For starters, they realize that you learn more from listening than talking. So they are happy to sit back and allow others to have the floor, but more than that, they don't feel a need to have the limelight. They are quietly confident. So they are comfortable taking a back seat. This can mean that old souls are really wonderful listeners. 3. You're patient. Patience is a very unassuming quality that can get overlooked. Yet, religions and philosophers have long praised this virtue, and for good reason. Research has shown patient people are also more generous, more cooperative, more empathic, more equitable, and more forgiving. But let's face it, it can be undeniably incredibly challenging to cultivate, which is perhaps why it's something associated with the maturity of an old soul. Because as we'll see next, increased tolerance certainly comes with greater wisdom. 4. You don't judge others. You don't see it as your place to judge others. Instead, you put your focus on seeking to understand them, even when that's not always possible. At the very least you aim to show them compassion. Maturity shows us that everyone on this planet is unique. We all have different upbringings, cultures, and experiences that shape who we are, how we feel, and what we think. An old soul knows that means we can never fairly compare or contrast. And neither can we judge one another for those differences. In the words of Elvis Presley, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes. 5. You are happy in your own company. We all need love and companionship in this life. Yet older souls often feel perfectly content in their own company. Why? Because they feel complete already. They feel connected to an underlying unifying essence that we all share. They do not desperately grasp external validation or stimulation in order to feel happy, worthy, or even entertained. They are able to enjoy their own company without feeling needy, lost, or bored. 6. You have more questions than answers. This can feel like a strange contradiction at first, especially as we see old souls as being wiser, and having their heads screwed on, but one of the very reasons for this wisdom springs from the fact that they don't feel like they know it all. They recognize the complexities of life. They sense there is so much more than meets the eye. This means that rather than having all the answers, they have far more questions. It is this quality that allows them to learn, grow, and remain ever-evolving. In many ways, this thirst for knowledge and understanding, as opposed to arrogantly assuming they know it all, is what feeds their wisdom. 7. You are intelligent in multifaceted ways. Are old souls more intelligent? Wisdom is for sure a type of intelligence. An almost intuitive seeming one. Old souls may not always have the highest IQs. But their intelligence is often multifaceted, because the reality is that intelligence takes many forms in life. Old souls that have mature and wise personalities may excel in emotional intelligence, creativity, linguistic intelligence, and more. They often have that street-smart quality that shows they have been around the block a few times. They are able to take a wider perspective when looking at the world. 8. People often turn to you for advice. Old souls have a tendency to listen well, not judge, be smart in many ways, be patient and compassionate. So is it any wonder that they are often in high demand from people seeking counsel? If you are a wise soul, then you may find that friends, family, or even strangers often come to you for advice. Your level-headedness makes you the first go-to port of call when someone is facing a crisis, whether that be big or small. It's a compliment that they feel you can be trusted. 9. You enjoy the company of your elders. Let's face it, it's not always the case, but hopefully, we do have a tendency to get wiser as we get older. If you are mature beyond your years, then you may have found yourself being drawn towards spending time with people older than you. perhaps even as a teen, your friendship group was older. Or you have always preferred and respected the company of the elderly because of their shared wisdom. If you can't find company that feels on your own level, you'd rather have no company at all. 10. You don't always feel like you fit in. Sadly, an old soul can feel like they stick out in society, but that's because it's not always geared toward their sensitivity, introversion, or deep-thinking nature, so you may at times feel a bit of a lone wolf, especially as you devote plenty of time to pursuing your own interests and pursuits. You might feel isolated from the group. Until you find people who share the same depth, you can find it a struggle to connect with others on a seemingly superficial level. 11. You see straight through people. If you have an incredibly sensitive BS filter, that's probably because you are an excellent judge of character. You get an almost instant read on someone, you pick up on the nuances of detail that they give off when they speak, and even from how they carry themselves. It's not that you mean to judge, but your wisdom simply gives you a better read on them. It's like you have this sixth sense for accurately reading the room. And that means you can tell insincerity a mile off. You pick up on the intention of others without even trying to. 12. You struggle with small talk. The depth of an old soul can find it difficult to fill the silence with chit-chat. In many ways, it's the same problems that introverts face. You prefer to have meaningful connections and conversations, and that doesn't necessarily involve discussing the weather or the intricacies of celeb culture. Old souls are skilled communicators, but only when they feel it's something worthy of discussion. 13. You feel drawn toward the mysteries of spirituality. Whilst an old soul is typically someone who we deem as more mature, there are undeniable esoteric undertones to the expression too. The implication is that you have lived many lives, or your soul has. And this is why you are smarter, wiser, and more likely to have your SHT together in this one. Whether it be a religious practice, spiritual beliefs, or simply a deep communion with nature and the universe, you may have always felt this effortless bond. You feel deeply connected to the energetic oneness of life. 14. You're a deep thinker, and sometimes an overthinker. It's no surprise, you love depth and feel very drawn to curiously questioning things. So, that introspective nature is what makes you smart beyond your years. And it also means you spend a lot of time in serious contemplation. In fact, you may struggle to stop at times. Perhaps you can find yourself spiraling into overthinking, which may cause you worry, stress, or anxiety. Just like certain mental health struggles be an unfortunate side effect of greater intelligence, so too can they be a sign of an old soul. 15. You value experiences over things. One of the clear hallmarks of an old soul is a shift away from materialism. After all, money may make us happy, but only to a point. And the reality is that there are way more important things in life, such as health, relationships, and well-being. If you've always valued these things more than the stuff in your life, then it's a sign of an old soul. It's not that you don't appreciate the comfort and security that material possessions can offer, but you never lose sight of what matters most. You're a big believer that we're here to collect memories, not things, putting yourself first. What's your number one goal at the moment? Is it to buy that car you've been saving up for? To finally start that side hustle that'll hopefully help you quit your 9-to-5 one day, or to take the leap and finally ask your partner to move in? Whatever your goals are, there's a hidden trap in how you set them. The trap is this: you'll only experience genuine life satisfaction when your goals are aligned with your values. Because when values and goals are aligned, you enjoy the journey much more. And this makes achieving your goals much more likely. If you find it hard to articulate your deeper life values, I suggest downloading the free values exercise by career coach Jeanette Brown. It takes only a couple of minutes and will reveal a number of powerful insights about your underlying values.